Daily Words of God. In every step of work that God does within people, externally it appears to be interactions between people, as if born of human arrangements or from human interference. But behind the scenes, every step of work and everything that happens is a wager made by Satan before God and requires people to stand firm in their testimony to God. Take when Job was tried, for example. Behind the scenes, Satan was making a bet with God, and what happened to Job was the deeds of men and the interference of men. Behind every step that God does in you is Satan's wager with God. Behind it all is a battle. For example, if you are prejudiced toward your brothers and sisters, you will have words that you want to say, words that you feel may be displeasing to God, but it will be hard for you inside. And at this moment, a battle will commence within you. Do I speak or not? This is the battle. Thus, in everything there is a battle. And when there is a battle within you, thanks to your actual cooperation and actual suffering, God works within you. Ultimately, inside you are able to put the matter aside, and the anger is naturally extinguished. Such is the effect of your cooperation with God. Everything you do requires you to pay a certain price in your efforts. Without actual hardship, you can't satisfy God. It does not even come close to satisfying God. And they are nothing but empty slogans. Can these empty slogans satisfy God? When God and Satan do battle in the spiritual realm, how should you satisfy God? And how should you stand firm in your testimony to Him? You should know that everything that happens to you is a great trial and the time when God needs you to bear testimony. Externally, they might not seem like a big deal, but when these things happen, they show whether or not you love God. If you do, you will be able to stand firm in your testimony to Him. And if you have not put the love of Him into practice, this shows you are not someone who puts the truth into practice, that you are without the truth and without life, that you are chaff. Everything that happens to people is when God needs them to stand firm in their testimony to Him. Nothing major has happened to you at the moment, and you do not bear great testimony, but every detail of your daily life relates to the testimony to God. If you can win the admiration of your brothers and sisters, your family members, and everyone around you, if one day the unbelievers come and admire all that you say and do, and see that all that God does is wonderful, then you will have borne testimony. Although you have no insight and your caliber is poor, through God's perfection of you, you are able to satisfy Him and be mindful of His will. Others will see what great work He has done in people of the poorest caliber. People come to know God and become overcomers before Satan and loyal to God to an extent. So none will have more backbone than this group of people. This will be the greatest testimony. Although you are incapable of doing great work, you are able to satisfy God. Others can't put aside their conceptions, but you can. Others can't bear testimony to God during their actual experiences, but you can use your actual stature and actions to repay God's love and bear resounding testimony to Him. Only this counts as actually loving God. If you are incapable of this, then you do not bear testimony among your family members, among your brothers and sisters, or before the people of the world. If you can't bear testimony before Satan, Satan will laugh at you. It will treat you as a joke, as a plaything. It will often make a fool of you and drive you insane. In the future, great trials may befall you. But today, if you love God with a true heart, and if, regardless of how great the trials ahead, irrespective of what happens to you, you are able to stand firm in your testimony and able to satisfy God, then your heart will be comforted, and you will be unafraid no matter how great the trials you encounter in the future. You can't see what will happen in the future. You can only satisfy God during today's circumstances. You are incapable of doing any great work and should focus on satisfying God by experiencing His words in real life and bearing strong and resounding testimony that brings shame upon Satan. Although your flesh will remain unsatisfied and have suffered, you will have satisfied God and brought shame upon Satan. If you always practice in this way, God will open up a path before you. When one day a great trial comes, others will fall down, but you will still be able to stand firm. Because of the price you have paid, God will protect you so you can stand firm and not fall down. If, ordinarily, you are able to put the truth into practice and satisfy God with a heart that truly loves Him, then God will surely protect you during future trials. Though you are foolish and of little stature and poor caliber, God will not discriminate against you. It depends on whether your motivations are right. Today, you are able to satisfy God, in which you are attentive to the smallest detail. You satisfy God in all things. You have a heart that truly loves God. You give your true heart to God. And although there are some things that you can't understand, you can come before God to rectify your motivations and seek God's will, and you do everything needed to satisfy God. Perhaps your brothers and sisters will abandon you, but your heart will be satisfying God, and you will not covet the pleasures of the flesh. If you always practice in this way, you will be protected when great trials come upon you.